Good morning, Pantsers. Happy Tuesday. This week I wanted to respond to something Alisha said last week. You're talking about how you have a hard time doing things because you have an idea in your head of how it's going to be, and then like you're afraid that it won't turn out like that, so you end up not doing it because you know you can't make it the way it is in your head. I'm so with you on that. I do that all the time, and it makes me absolutely insane because it's such a stupid way to behave. You know, it's like drawing. If you don't practice and you don't make a bunch of really crappy drawings, you never get good enough to make good drawings, right? That's how everything is, and I am so bad about that. I think it's a control thing. Like, you have this idea in your head, and you have this kind of platonic ideal, you know what I mean? Like, you have this platonic form of the item in your head, and if you can't make it like that, then you just can't let go of that and make something else. You can't let it just be what it is, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, it's so hard. I do this all the time, and it's so frustrating. And sometimes the thing that you end up with when you just go ahead and do it turns out a lot better than the thing you had in your head. This happens to me a lot. I find that the less I clutch on to some specific idea that I have, that I'm convinced I have to do perfectly, the less I hang on to this idea and try to like make it perfect, like make it fit into a specific idea of what perfect is, the less I clutch on to that and kind of give it space to sort of do whatever it's going to do, the better the end result generally. Not so much with videos, because videos I tend to ramble, but you know, in general. I found that when I was taking music theory and having to compose things, I found it when I've done art projects, I found it doing NaNoWriMo, I found it on all kinds of things, and it's kind of like I mentioned last week, sometimes the best things in my life are accidents and things that I couldn't have planned, and I find that here a lot. Please excuse London's barking. My pets, man, they are out to get me today. They do not want me to record this video. So, like NaNoWriMo, for instance, it took me probably 8 or 9 years to talk myself into doing NaNoWriMo after I first heard about it, because I wanted to do it so badly. It sounded like so much fun, and I was so afraid that I wouldn't be able to do it, and that it would just turn out really horribly, and I was so freaked out about it. I mean, I would have a physical fear response. Like, when I say I was afraid, or like I was terrified, I mean it literally. Like, I would have like physical symptoms of fear. You know, the adrenaline and the heart palpitations and the whole thing, almost like a miniature panic attack. It was really bad and ridiculous. And I knew I was being dumb, like I knew I was being ridiculous about it, but I couldn't stop it. I was so freaked out about it. I'm not a good risk taker. Some people are great at that. They can just jump right out and not be concerned about where they're going to land. Some people are fantastic at that. I am not one of those people. I'm getting better at it. Like, I'm working on it. I've been working really hard on being less concerned about having things match up perfectly with what's in my head, and less concerned about attempting things that I'm freaked out by, you know, like NaNoWriMo, I was so afraid that I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was completely panicked. And when I finally talked myself into doing Nano, it was because I needed to prove to myself that I could do it. And even more than needing to prove to myself that I could win it, I needed to prove to myself that I could attempt it, because I was so completely terrified of it. And I had this like weird epiphany. Suddenly I realized basically my whole life had kind of turned into this thing where I was so afraid to try anything because I was so afraid that it wouldn't work, or that I would just screw it up horribly, or that I would never be able to make it as good as I wanted it to be, that I just wasn't doing anything at all. I was just completely terrified to do anything. And so I've been working really hard at that. Nano 2009 was the first thing that I was like a big thing that I was really, really freaked out by, that I just went ahead and did anyway. And it was like the perfect thing, because not only did I win it eventually and have a really good like nano experience, but Nano 2009, as you may remember, is the thing that introduced me to Nerdfighteria, which, as I say, happy accidents, man, are a big thing in my life, and this was one of them. Maybe one of the biggest and happiest accidents I've ever had. I'm getting better because I've been working on it for a long time now, you know, trying to take more risks and do more stuff without worrying too much about whether it's going to be perfect or whether it's going to turn out okay or whether I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm getting better. Not perfect, but better. Which I guess is kind of the point, right? I don't know. I don't have any cohesive thoughts about anything this week. I've got to figure out some way to end videos better. I never know what to say when I get to the end. Chaucer, stop coughing so I can record. You okay? Don't throw up in the house. Don't sneeze either. No noise making.